And welcome into the Fantasy Football Tactics podcast. I'm your host, Patrick, with Joey.
What's up?
And Bobito.
What's good?
And we are going to go ahead and tackle the AFC North in the NFC North division today in our divisional breakdowns. So we have some news to start off with here. We have Travis Kelce getting a 4-year deal that is between $14 to $15 million per year per Rappaport. And then we have George Kittle getting the bag.
Money.
Wow, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
5 years, $75 million. Wow, that's crazy.
Dude.
He got the haul.
Holy.
So that does have some fantasy implications here for both of them. George Kittle's locked up for the next 5 years.
How much is guaranteed for Kittle?
I don't have that. I'd have to look it up.
On it.
But, I mean, for the fantasy implications of it, he is going to still be in the same situation that he's been. I believe his deal actually comes in it ties into actually like a Sean McVay deal. So they're there for the same amount of time, which is pretty good.
Not Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan.
And that's about all I have for that. George Kittle's a great player, helps you in Dynasty because you know he ain't going anywhere.
I have that info if you like. So
yeah, go ahead. What's his guaranteed money?
$75 million extension, and more than half the deal is made up of guarantees. $30 million guaranteed at signing, $40 million guaranteed for injury, and $18 million signing bonus.
Wow, that's pretty good.
$70 million is guarantee.
Oh, that's great.
So,
That's great.
I mean...
That's crazy.
Good for him, man. Getting the bag. He deserves it.
That man's putting in work. He came from nothing and now look at him.
Exactly. The next bit of news we have is Denzel Mims of the New York Jets has a hamstring injury. He's a rookie. He was a guy that I liked in Dynasty drafts. So just make sure you guys are monitoring that. There's nothing to really say about it. We're still a month away from the season. And the other piece of news we have is Clyde the Glide gets first team reps in the first pads practice for the Kansas City Chiefs. Not much to say about that either. We kind of all foresaw that. I didn't see Darwin James or anybody like that coming in and being able to get those reps. So it's nothing much. There wasn't hardly any news today. Sorry.
I mean, it was just funny because I feel like him getting pads on it was just like a thing we were waiting to happen because we were waiting for that ever since Damian Williams said he was getting out of the season.
It was meant to happen no matter what.
Exactly. Yeah, it was gonna happen no matter what. We were just waiting for the point to where that was gonna happen.
Yeah, it just solidifies the draft stock virtually. But let's go ahead and jump into this AFC. We're gonna lead off with the Steelers. Big Ben is back. James Conner is back. Juju Smith is back. Now, with Big Ben coming back off his injury, there's been reports saying Big Ben feels like his arm is stronger. I mean, he's a player, so you take that with a grain of salt. I do feel like him coming back is great. I think he is going to be healthy, and I think Juju Smith is going to jump back up on the board. Juju Smith struggled last year, but that whole offense struggled because Mason Rudolph was garbage. I mean, so with Big Ben coming back in, you're going to see a big tick up for Juju, I feel, and I like it a lot. Juju's not going very early in drafts either, so that ultimately just helps you if you can peel him out. He has his upside's pretty good. He has, I think, wide receiver 1 upside if he can snag the touchdowns. But other than that, there's not much to say about Juju. I think he's going to be a lot better than he was last year. A couple other.
I'm sorry. I mean, with Ben coming back, I believe they linked really, really well when they were both on the field. So, I mean, with Ben coming back and Juju coming back, I feel like it's just going to be like going back to basics. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. And I mean, as of right now, Juju is 6th round pick 3, and that's off of fantasyfootballcalculator.com. That's his ADP. So, I mean, you're getting a guy who has in my book, he has top 12, top 15 upside, and you're getting in
Yeah.
the 6th round. He could be your wide receiver 2 and be a stud.
Oh, for sure, you're safe with that one if you take him at that point.
Oh, yeah. The people around him is A.J. Green, Terry McLaurin, Michael Gallup, Jarvis Landry, Marquise Brown. I'd rather have Juju over all of them. Juju's the only guy that's the number 1 on his team.
And not to say anything bad about those guys. Those are all great wide receivers in their own aspect. But Juju, just kind of stands out above all those wide receivers right there.
For sure. The other guys we got. Oh, go ahead.
And like we said, with Ben coming back, that only helps his case.
Oh, 100%. The other guys we got here is a guy that I like him, but I don't like him. His name's Deontay Johnson. 60 catches last year, 680 yards, 5 TDs. I feel like he's going to be more the burner guy. So there's not much to say. I think he'll get his work, but don't expect him to come out and get more than 70 catches, maybe 60 catches. He had like 90 targets, but this is all without Big Ben. So it's kind of hard to tell. The only guy that we really have information on is really Juju, and we've seen what he's done. He's been a top 12 wide receiver in the league, fantasy football-wise, with Big Ben. So there's not much to say.
He could possibly be a steal, to be honest. Right now he could be a steal. Right now he's going in the 11th round. So
6.
I'm looking here, according to Fancy Pros, he's going in the 11th round, according to them. So if that is the case, if this is correct from what they're putting out there, then that's definitely a steal, especially with Big Ben coming back and having 2 dynamic wide receivers on both ends of the field.
Oh, if he's in the 11th round, he's gone.
He doesn't
make it. I know I picked him up. I have faith that he's going to come back and with him and Ben coming back, like I've been saying, I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, it will be. So, Joey, I got a question.
Answer.
For you. Oh, shoot. I didn't expect it to be that fast.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. I was not prepared. So, Joey, in our Dynasty League.
Yes.
In my book, I would say that you have Juju Smith-Schuster as your wide receiver 1 over DK Metcalf. Now, are you happy with having Juju as your wide receiver 1? Or would you prefer to have another guy there as your wide receiver 1?
Well, to be 100% honest with you, I would much rather somebody else there. Much rather somebody else like Tyreek Hill as my wide receiver 1, or even who else was I gunning for? Julio Smith, or I'm sorry, Julio Jones. Yeah, Julio Jones. I would much rather one of them there instead of Schuster. But with my lineup that I have, I'm okay with Schuster being my wide receiver 1.
Okay. So you're happy with that?
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Bobby?
You want Amari Cooper?
We're not doing that today.
All right, we don't talk about draft things during our podcast, all right?
Oh well, I'm fine. I'll talk about trades all day, bro. All right.
No, but I understand what you mean. Obviously, if I looked at the board a little bit better when that time came around, I would say I think I panicked a little bit on Schuster to pick him up because I knew I needed a wide receiver at the time. And I even said it myself. I think I grabbed Schuster early because Ben's coming back doesn't mean he's gonna get all the points. It just looks that way because that's how they've done it throughout the time. We don't know. Ben could decide to start handing the ball off to James Conner the entire season.
I wouldn't say that as a worry.
I'm just saying, like, you don't know what's gonna happen. Do I trust Schuster? I'm gonna have to because that's who I got for my wide receiver 1.
Well, Joey, would you rather have Juju or Amari Cooper as your wide receiver 1?
Big question.
See, that's a funny question because I know in the last show that we talked about Amari Cooper having too many weapons.
Yes.
So that would be my only worry with Amari Cooper and trading him for Juju. Because
no, I'm not talking about trading. I'm talking about your draft.
And like me picking up Amari Cooper instead of Juju.
Would you rather have Juju? Would you in the spot that you drafted, right? So you drafted at first pick. You had the number 1 overall pick.
I understand what you're saying now, and it's gonna be Juju. And I'm saying Juju because, like we said on the last show, Amari Cooper has two other people on that team that are going to be able to be thrown to. And we don't know what's going to happen. We know for a fact that Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup are going to be, those two people. But I feel like maybe Juju's going to get more throws his way. It's not going to be
I
so
feel like he'll
split.
get more force fed. He'll be
Exactly.
more force fed.
That's what I'm trying to say.
It's a good thing you chose that answer because I was checking the draft results, and you definitely picked Juju Smith-Schuster over Amari Cooper.
Oh, no, I know 100% I picked Juju over Amari Cooper, and I know we did that for a reason because I even thought about it before we were even drafting. I looked at the Cowboys, and I'm like, they have, a lot of people to throw to on that team.
Yeah, good. Then we have James Conner, who's going significantly late. The only issue I have with James Conner is he does have injury risk. We have him currently ranked at 17 on our consensus rankings. I like James Conner. When he's healthy, he's the only guy going in this spot that has top 5 upside at the running back position. With that being said, he's not normally healthy. So you might not have the whole thing. You might not get an entire season of James Conner. So you have to kind of play that by ear and go off of that. Other than that, Big Ben, I think, is going to be fine. He's going to do Big Ben things. I think you're going to probably see about an average season from Big Ben, or his average season. So there's not much to say. The Steelers, they produce the running back score. They usually have a number 1 wide receiver, and they still have Big Ben. So I don't see there being much to say about the Steelers. You guys have anything else?
No, I just think with the injuries that, kind of like the two main players are coming off of, it's just going to be interesting to see how they come off of those injuries.
The one thing that I'm actually curious about, and this guy's already a veteran, is they acquired Eric Ebron this year as their tight end.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I wonder how much he's actually going to, Ben Roethlisberger being the person, going to actually throw to him. He's been pretty solid throughout his entire career.
Okay, so Eric Ebron is a new player to that team. I think he has pretty good touchdown upside, but other than that, I don't look for him to do much outside of touchdowns. If you draft him, you're going to be happy when he scores. You're going to be very disappointed when he doesn't. You guys have anything else to add in there?
No, not really.
I agree with everything you said.
All right, now we're going to jump into the Bengals. The fresh offense that a lot of people are looking at. You got Joe Burrow, and then A.J. Green comes back. You have T. Higgins, the rookie sensation that's coming in there. And then you also have Tyler Boyd there along with Joe Mixon. And this team, you can look at it in a couple different scopes. You can look at it as if Joe Burrow plays great, he's going to probably throw for about 4,000 yards and maybe roughly give or take 27 TDs. And, with that, that's great for the rookie. And there's no possible way, in my eyes, that he does those stats without A.J. Green going off. Now, A.J. Green, he was injured, came back, and now he's back. He's healthy. He feels great. Got another year of rest under his belt. And I think A.J. Green's going to be a sleeper for a lot of teams to where you're getting this guy who's in the 6th round that absolutely has top 5 upside here. If Joe Burrow plays great. Joe Burrow is also the rookie, though. So you still get that rookie mistake aspect that comes in. Now, the other issue is that I look at Tyler Boyd. I think Tyler Boyd's going to be perfectly fine. He's going to go and he's going to do Tyler Boyd things, which is he's been a great wide receiver, too. Wide receiver 3. He's actually going nearly an entire round after A.J. Green, which is great value for Tyler Boyd. But the thing is that this all comes down to Joe Burrow. If Joe Burrow can come out hot and set the world on fire, you're going to see a good A.J. Green, you're going to see a good Tyler Boyd, and you're going to see a very good Joe Mixon. Now, with that being said, T. Higgins, I don't really know where he fits in yet. And that's a little worrisome. I still draft T. Higgins in dynasty leagues because you're getting this young guy. But you're getting the future A.J. Green virtually in dynasty-wise, so that's great. But with A.J. Green, he's a guy I think that can win you a championship. He might
I mean,
actually be a sleeper for me or a my guy for me.
yeah,
I
and I
agree.
mean, your thing about T. Higgins, I mean, they could just be getting him ready to be that wide receiver 3 to just work along with AJ Green and Tyler Boyd.
I think he'll get in. I think he'll get snaps in, but I don't think you're going to see much of him.
No, of course not. I mean, it's rookie year. I just feel like maybe they're trying to do something in a way they're trying to run the 3 wide receiver set and actually be able to throw to any of the wide receivers, and they know they'll catch it, and they know that they'll get the points that they need.
Yeah, but it's also, you got rookie Joe Burrow, you have rookie T Higgins, so I think it's going to be a little slower pace. And I think Joe Burrow has to lean on AJ Green, the veteran, the big time veteran wide receiver over there, to help him out.
Oh no, I
So
100% agree with you. I'm just saying, with see T Higgins as a rookie, maybe that's what they'll do. Maybe they'll start throwing him in as a wide receiver 3.
You
yeah,
do have to
for
give him a
sure.
little bit of confidence, though. T. Higgins, like if you don't throw him in, and if he doesn't get any catches, then his actual confidence is going to just go down.
Oh,
So
he'll
you
for
got to make
sure
sure get some
he'll
reps in
get
there.
in. He'll get in. I don't see him being fantasy viable this year for your
Oh
team.
no, yeah, not yet. Anyway,
I think in a year or two you will, and that's right along with AJ Green retiring. So
yeah. 'Cause I mean,
we shall see.
the only thing that I got to say about AJ Green is just he is a great pickup. It's just he's got to avoid the injuries.
Yeah, I mean, he's really only had one like super serious injury in the last few years. So
Joe
I mean,
Burrow's
I'm
going to
not
be
too
really
worried about that.
exciting. Joe Burrow's going to be exciting to watch, to see his chemistry with the entire team, and hopefully you can get that connection with AJ Green. It's going to be something special, I think.
I think so too. I do too. With that segue, we could jump into Joe Mixon, who we have ranked as our running back 11 here, right between Kenyon Drake and Nick Chubb. I like Joe Mixon. I like him a lot. I actually just tried to trade for him in the Dynasty League, but I couldn't get him. Joe Mixon last year, you felt like he hurt you bad, and that's because he wasn't scoring touchdowns. He had 5 rushing touchdowns with 3 catching touchdowns. Year prior in 2018, he left with 9 total touchdowns. The yardage was about the same. His attempts were up in 2019 compared to 2018. So, with that being said, I like him a lot because this guy's going to catch about 40 balls. He's going to score a couple times through the air, but he's also, I'd like to see him come back to what his rookie year was with the touchdowns. Maybe and get to like the 7 touchdown mark, which will help a lot. But I see them kind of force feeding him the ball. And if Joe Burrows is playing good, then they can't sit here and stack the box like they did all last year against Joe Mixon, letting Joe Mixon actually be able to run.
Yeah, I mean now
Now,
since they have Joe Mixon now, they'll have someone that's confident enough to be able to throw the ball down the field, and that's gonna throw some defenses for a loop, especially since last year all they knew is, hey, we got to cover Joe Mixon.
yeah, I mean, they'd stack the box and just stuff the run on Joe Mixon. So, I mean, now you're going to see the attempts. He gets to work, you know what I mean? So he's getting 300 plus touches. You can't beat that. This guy he's probably going to be, he could finish like 7-8 running back.
I
So,
can see that for sure.
yeah, he has that upside. If he can find the end zone a couple more times, because this offense is going to be better. Now, the real issue is that their line still sucks. So I don't really know how that's going to get fixed or what they're going to do to fix it, but his line sucked. And that's pretty much what it is.
I mean, they've really had to. They're gonna have to improve that line during the offseason to make anything happen.
Especially
That
if they want
is
to
for
keep
sure.
Joe Burrow actually healthy and make sure that he has enough time to throw his balls out to these great wide receivers that he has and will have in the future as well. So they need to get that and step it up.
I agree. I don't really have anything else for the Bengals here.
No, they're pretty much cut and dry with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we are moving on to the Baltimore Ravens, where we have Lamar Jackson, the guy who everybody loved in 2019, balled up, 36 touchdowns, 6 picks. I mean, 3,000 yards. And then that's not even his rushing. So, like, Lamar Jackson was great, but Lamar Jackson I feel like Lamar Jackson played out of his realm of what he actually does. You had a good baseline with Lamar Jackson throwing the ball or rushing the ball, I'm sorry. But you're not going to see him sitting here slinging this ball like that. I don't think.
No,
I don't see a world where
agree.
he throws it that great. He threw a lot of touchdowns. The touchdowns don't equate to the yards at all. 3,000 yards passing with 36 passing touchdowns.
That's crazy. That's crazy for him. I mean, no one knew coming out the gate last year what he was going to do. So now that teams have figured him out, you got to know that they're going to actually have a way to somehow stop him, not only through the air, but rushing as well.
I agree. I mean, he had 1,200 rushing yards last year, which
That's
is
insane.
phenomenal.
That's crazy.
Crazy. And seven scores.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7 of those yards or 7 of them were touchdowns too.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Lamar Jackson, I feel like he's going to come back to the norm. His yardage is probably going to stay the same. I'll give him 3,000 yards passing, but I don't see a world where he's throwing 36 touchdowns again right now. His touchdown percentage was way too high for what the norm is. Thus, you're going to see regression on the touchdowns. I think you could probably take away 10 of those passing touchdowns, and that's what you're going to see as the norm, which is still a really good player and the number 2 consensus quarterback on our list. But I don't see where he's throwing 36 touchdowns. Played outside of his mind.
Dude was a beast. No doubt about that.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to be wary though, because that number's going to come down. He's not going to sling it like that. It's not going to be touchdown that high of a touchdown percentage.
Why don't you think that though?
Because it was ridiculously high. Like the average.
Yeah, but what says that he can't do it again?
Because it's outside of the norm. Well outside of the norm.
Yeah, so I mean, looking at it here, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Last year, he did have 9% of his pass attempts were touchdowns, which does rank 15 all time. And back in 2018, when Patrick Mahomes was lighting it up and still is, he was throwing for 8.6%. So that's crazy to think that he outthrew Patrick Mahomes in touchdowns.
To break it down into like a little easier of a term to where it's not a super amazing season, like Tom Brady and Drew Brees' career touchdown percentage is 5.4. That is why I do not think Lamar Jackson is going to throw for 36 touchdowns again, Joey.
Okay.
I give him 5%, honestly. So around 20 touchdowns is what I think is around his range right now. May go up from that. There's definitely is some plus side to that. But 20, 25, I think, is in his realm as far as throwing touchdowns. Rushing is a different story.
This team is not going to be the best offense in football.
No, I don't see it either.
That's a fact. They don't have enough there. Hollywood Brown's great, but that's not enough. Mark Andrews is great, but that's not enough. They're a good rushing team with behind Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, the fresh J.K. Dobbins. So I don't see them sitting here just slinging touchdowns like it's Oprah, So that's pretty much where I'm at with Lamar Jackson. I don't want to draft him. His draft pedigree is way too high for me. Way too much, worth way too much for what he's not going to give me back.
I definitely agree.
So I do like Hollywood Brown, though. And Joey likes Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood.
I do like Hollywood Brown.
He is going, what's his ADP? Is the 6th round, 8th pick. The thing about Hollywood Brown is he's not going to catch the ball that much. He's the number 1 wide receiver over there. But you're not going to see a great deal of... He's not going to get targeted like that because this is a run-first team. Last year, Hollywood Brown had 46 catches.
Yeah.
With 7 scores. What's his ceiling there? Is it 60? Maybe? Like, I don't see a world where he's getting 60 catches.
I think he has room to improve. I think he has a room to get more catches this year, more yards, and possibly more touchdowns. And I think, I don't know, maybe it's just because I feel like Lamar Jackson's going to throw the ball a little bit more this year.
I don't see why he would. If the rushing attack works, why would you change it? Lamar Jackson last year took 400 attempts, right? Hollywood Brown got 71 targets of those 400 attempts. Mark Andrews, let me pull him up real quick. Mark Andrews caught 64 of those passes, but where's his targets? I don't see his targets.
Find those targets.
Find them.
Mark Andrews' targets last year was 98, so about 100 of those targets for Lamar Jackson was to Mark Andrews.
Exactly.
1/4 of them, jeez. So,
and I think those passing numbers are coming way down.
They're
not going to have to throw the ball. They're better on the ground.
This team is a run-first team, as plain and simple.
They improved their defense too.
I mean, we'll see what they do. I mean, I know I picked up Hollywood Brown.
I'm not saying Hollywood Brown. Don't get me wrong. Hollywood Brown's not going to be a bad player for fantasy, but don't have these expectations of him coming out and showing out every week. He's not going to be a consistent player. He's going to be like a Tyreek Hill light because the volume's just not there. Tyreek Hill is going to get more targets than Hollywood Brown is, but that's why also Tyreek Hill is a top 10 pick or top 12 pick in the league for fantasy. Hollywood Brown, you're getting in the 6th round. I like having Hollywood Brown on my team. He is a guy that can go off at any week and get you 30 points in a week and win you a week. But I don't want people to have this expectation of Hollywood Brown can be my number 1 wide receiver on my team.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. I just know I picked him up for one of my flex guys because I know that he's the type of guy that, can get me 30 points, especially if I'm down, 30 points. I know that, I can count on him to have.
You have a shot.
Yeah, I know that. I'm looking at my fantasy going, okay, I know I got Hollywood Brown to play today, and I'm 20 points down. Hopefully, I can actually put hope into him getting or having a great game and getting me those points I need to win my fantasy game.
I agree. I mean, I don't see a world where Hollywood Brown's stats, I feel like are closer to staying the same over like Mark Andrews. Because Mark Andrews, 10 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, off 100 targets, 10 touchdowns, and caught the ball. What'd you have, Joey, for him catching the ball?
I believe it was 98 targets and
70 catches or something.
I believe so.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
64. It was 64 receptions with 98 targets for 852 yards, 10 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, they really utilized him last year.
They did. I do agree with his stats as well, other than the touchdowns. Because if Hollywood Brown's getting 7, Lamar Jackson's probably going to throw a couple to between Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins. He's going to throw them at least 4 or 5 combined. And then you have Mark Andrews. And we're only getting Lamar Jackson at like about 20 touchdowns passing, if not a little more. So this 10 touchdowns does not fit. I think you're going to see Mark Andrews take a little touchdown dip because that team I think it was more of a Lamar Jackson thing. Lamar Jackson throwing for 9% touchdown rate is what the outcome of this was.
Yeah. So I think another great thing to look at too would be their schedule. I mean, you got to see what kind of people they're going against. I mean, they're going against the Chiefs in week 3.
It's not a bad defense to go against.
No, and then I mean you're going against the Steelers as well. The Texans, I would say the Bengals, but I don't think their defense as much.
They're going against the Browns.
Yeah,
the Browns is okay.
You got to go against the Browns. You're going against the Colts, Patriots.
They go against some decent defenses here.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that's going to be definitely a thing to look at too. When you're looking at someone like Lamar Jackson, because you got to think about how their offensive line is going to react to their defense.
I agree. They have a good defense. I think their formula for winning games is to run the ball and have Lamar Jackson be at his pocket. So I think that's what it is. I don't really care for drafting Mark Andrews. He's going too high, and I know I'm not getting 10 touchdowns out of him. So there's that. And he's not catching the ball a ton. He's catch 65 catches, which isn't bad for a tight end, but his numbers are going to drop.
Yeah,
maybe he catches 6 touchdowns.
The whole point he got those stats last year is because Lamar Jackson found him when he needed to, and that's why he got those touchdowns. And like you were saying, like next year or this year, Lamar Jackson's not going to be throwing that much. They're going to be running the ball a little bit more. So Mark Andrews, like you said, is going to see a significant dip in his numbers.
I think just a touchdown dip.
Just a touchdown
is what
dip?
I think. Yeah, that's where
Okay.
I feel like 65 catches for 850 yards is is like impossibility for him, but I do think the touchdowns is a little high. I think 10 touchdowns is quite a bit for him. So, I could be wrong. Lamar Jackson could love the guy, but
I was going to say maybe that's just how they're running their offense right now. Is that they're loving on the tight end a little bit more.
Yeah, that could be true too. So, Mark Andrews, great player, but I don't want to pay for that for a guy who's dipping down, and I don't see there going to be much of a difference between the tight end 4 and the tight end 10. There's not going to be much of a point differential there for me to take that shot at a Mark Andrews.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I don't see anything else for the Ravens. Do you guys?
No, I think we should get right into the Browns.
Okay,
you guys want to get into the Ingram?
Oh, Mark Ingram? We didn't talk.
Oh, yeah, no, we forgot about Mark Ingram.
It's kind of a big deal.
Yes, he is.
Well, like how Pat was saying, it sounds like he's gonna be splitting this year.
He's gonna be one of the power horses for the team, honestly.
He is, but are you you got J.K. Dobbins, the new breed, coming in? So, I don't know. I don't know when J.K. Dobbins takes over the role.
It all depends. It all depends what they're gonna do. It depends if they're gonna split Mark Ingram's time with J.K. Dobbins, so J.K. Dobbins can start learning how to take over that running back 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's just gonna depend because if they split it, you're definitely gonna see a dip in Mark Ingram's numbers because he's gonna be splitting it with J.K. Dobbins. So I don't think it's wrong to take Mark Ingram. It's just you got to be wary to see what their offense is going to do with J.K. Dobbins being on that team.
For sure. Yeah. I think Mark Ingram, you're going to get some good use out of Mark Ingram early, but I do think the tide turns probably about mid-season, if not week 7, week 6-ish, to where you see a heavier rise for J.K. Dobbins carry count-wise and such.
Looking at ADP rankings, Mark Ingram's going 4th. So,
what do you mean? Fourth what? 4th round?
Yeah, 4th round.
Yeah.
So
it's just pretty high.
But just by seeing that and not seeing Dobbins, until I'm still looking for him. That's why, and not seeing Dobbins until the 10th round.
I'd rather go Dobbins there. We have Mark Ingram at 24, and then we have Dobbins in our rankings. Where is he? We kind of have him buried a little bit, 39th. I think we're gonna have to bump him up anyway, but we only have him there because we don't really know what their running back situation's looking like yet.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna have to. It's just gonna be a game to see what they're gonna be doing on that offense, how they're gonna play it, since they have 2 capable running backs now.
For sure.
I agree. Yeah.
All right, let's get into the Browns here, boys. Let's start off. I want to start off with their running backs. I want to start off with Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. So let's play a game here, guys.
All right.
We're going to do a snap percentage game from when Kareem Hunt came off suspension in week 10 to Nick Chubb. All right, so snap percentages. I guess it's not really a game. I'm just going to tell you all anyway. But the snap percentages for Kareem Hunt follow from week 10 to 17. 54%, 55, 57, 65, 63, 61, 57, 67. Nick Chubb is 81% in week 10, then 72, 57, 59, 70, 50, 65, 57.
I mean, just from those numbers alone, it's clear to
almost
see
even.
who it is. It?
It's almost 50-50 split.
I think they're
It's
giving
not,
the edge
but
more to
it's
Kareem.
Kareem is almost getting 60%, almost every week, and then he goes above 60%.
I mean, would it be bad to say that they're splitting time again, just like how?
No, it's not bad to
Mark
say.
Ingram's doing.
It hurts Nick Chubb.
It massively hurts Nick Chubb because I mean, back when they drafted Kareem Hunt or they picked up Kareem Hunt, I think it shocked everybody.
Yeah, no one thought for sure that anybody was going to pick him up in the league. So now, for Nick Chubb's numbers to go down that drastic compared to how they were, now kind of competing like basically for running back 1A and running back 1B, pretty much. That's pretty much how they are right now, which is crazy to think of what pretty much 1 year is going to do.
I agree. I mean, Nick Chubb, I don't see a world where, I mean, I love Nick Chubb. He's so good. He's going to have to be very, very, very efficient this year to make his draft stock be worth it. We have Nick Chubb at running back 12. I see him scoring a lot. They get Kevin Stefanski from the Vikings as their new head coach. And last year, what'd you see from the Vikings? You saw a lot of them running the ball. They wanted to push Dalvin Cook through. So this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we're going to see them running the ball a lot. And I think it's going to be behind the helm of Nick Chubb. Now, the great thing is that you can get Kareem Hunt fairly late in drafts. I just had him here, and then I lost him.
It's a big yikes.
Kareem the Dream. Where are you? Where are you, buddy? He's going in the 7th round. Pick one of 7th round. Kareem Hunt is going late, but the great thing is that Kareem Hunt is going to be, I think he's the ultimate handcuff in this thing because Kareem Hunt has standalone value without Nick Chubb being hurt. Kareem Hunt can go and he can have weeks with 8 catches, 7 catches, 6 or 5, and he can score. He's also going to get a little bit of rushing work here and there too. But Kareem Hunt's going to catch the ball, and those are the valuable targets. So I like Kareem Hunt a lot. So he's a guy that I'll take in drafts. I wish I got him in the dynasty draft, but 1-year deal left. So I guess we'll see how they do it, but Kareem Hunt's worth it to me.
I mean, I definitely think, especially with it being, because it's his last year with the Browns, so I think with that, I think he might want to try to push his numbers up a little more so possibly an extension comes through.
Yeah, but I'd rather see him on a different team to where they're both of these guys are getting their own touches and such. You know.
Yeah, we could see that too. I was just throwing it out there that you don't know, he might want to stay on that team and might just be like, well, now I gotta work for my extension.
Yeah, I agree. He's absolutely playing for a contract this year for sure, whether it's from the Browns or any other team in the league. You know, so we'll get there. We're going to jump into these wide receivers. Got Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry pretty much as the only guys over there. And then you got 2 tight ends of newly signed Austin Hooper and David Njoku. And I like Odell Beckham this year. I'm going to tell you why. Last year, I felt like Odell Beckham was getting forced the ball, and it wasn't coming naturally. And Baker Mayfield didn't play well at all. I see Baker Mayfield's taking a big step up this year, and I also see Odell Beckham returning more to his 2014 to 2016 career numbers of 90 catches, 1,300 yards, and 10-plus touchdowns. I see that coming back for him.
Now, I will say this. You don't think they might split time? You don't think him and Jarvis Landry are going to be splitting?
I don't think. I think. Well, I mean, they're going to have plenty of.
Get him more.
There's going to be plenty of footballs to go around. You know what I mean? So I'm not worried about that. They're going to be both on this field at the same time, regardless. But I do see Odell Beckham getting more of a chemistry with Baker to where you're going to see his numbers jump up and you're going to see him kind of get more back into like the 85 to 90 catch range.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I just, you know me, I'm a Jarvis Landry fan, and I would love to see Jarvis Landry's numbers go up as well.
Jarvis Landry had a great year last year, though.
Oh, no, he definitely did. I mean, I don't know. For me, I would love to see Jarvis Landry as, that Odell Beckham role. It's like, hey, he could be that wide receiver 1.
Well, I think it's a 1A, 1B kind of thing, depending on how Baker's throwing it. So
also depends on the scenario for me too. Because if they're looking to go deep, then OBJ all the way. If they're looking to just get something short, and if they're in the red zone and they want to get a quick touchdown, Jarvis is your way to go because that man's routes are crispy as hell.
Oh yeah, they are
crispy,
bro.
But with the Odell side of it, I mean, you're getting Odell in the beginning of the 5th round, right? And Odell's not injured. Jarvis Landry just came off a hip injury. So with that being said, I like Odell a lot because I do like Baker. I see Baker taking this step forward. It didn't pan out over there last year. Their offensive line was garbage. Freddie Kitchens was garbage. So they're getting a real proven offensive mind. And I see them taking this step forward. They're going to run the ball a lot. But when they throw the ball, it's going to be good too. You look at when the Vikings they had Adam Thielen and they had Stephon Diggs. And that's virtually what you're getting over here too with the Browns. I don't see an issue here.
I agree with you. It's the only thing I want to see is I like to see Baker Mayfield do a little bit better this year.
Yeah, I think he is.
I definitely do not want to see 21 interceptions.
Yeah, that was not good. I see Baker Mayfield taking a big step up this year. He's going to be a guy he's going to torch some people.
Yeah,
but we'll go. What's that?
I mean, my last thought about Baker Mayfield is that, I'm looking at it now. He had 40 sacks last year, so it's not only Baker Mayfield that needs work. It seems like their offensive line might need a little bit of work too, and that's definitely what's going to help Baker Mayfield actually produce this year.
That's why I like Baker, because they did make some improvements on their offensive line to get it fixed. They established it and they said, okay, we're fixing this. So I think that's what's going to really, really actually help that entire offense, because that offense was supposed to be really good, but it didn't pan out very well for them. Let's jump into the tight end situation here. Supposedly the rumors are that they are going to be running 2 tight end sets. Somehow, I don't see how, when you have Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, Austin Hooper, David Njoku, and then you have the 2 stud running backs. So
they're just going to run 2 sets of everything?
No, well, I don't know. They're thinking because David Njoku.
That's what I'm saying. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like they're just going to run 2 sets of everything.
Well, you can't. You got to run when you're running 2 tight end sets. It's probably going to be 1 wide receiver, but I don't see why they're going to go 4 wide every week, every play. But supposedly they're going to be getting Njoku involved. They plan on getting him involved. So maybe you're going to see like a 50-50 split with Dawson Hooper and David Njoku. I mean, I don't see why they signed Hooper, because I don't think they needed him.
I think they did need him. At least Austin Hooper is concerned. I think they did need another person in there because, like you said before, they do have Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. So they need, not only for the tight end perspective itself, but they need someone in there to actually block for these dudes when they actually are going to run the ball. So Njoku's going to get, obviously, tired. So we have to have Austin Hooper in there to replace him, and he's just a stud himself as well. So I think it was actually a pretty good signing on their part.
I mean, if you're looking for a tight end, I don't think it would hurt to pick up either one of these guys. Just because of the fact that if they are going to run the 2 tight end set, that both the guys are going to be getting work every week. Personally, I might maybe grab Austin Hooper first, just because I feel like he will do more on the field rather than Njoku. But that's just my opinion personally.
I'm not going to touch any of them. I'm just going to stay away. It's not worth it to me. It's not worth an 8th round pick.
That's yours. That's your thought there. But
I'd rather go get Hayden Hurst in the 9th, which is the only.
How do you? It's just funny because like, how do you think Njoku even felt when he heard that
he requested a trade?
That they grabbed Austin Hooper and they grabbed Harrison Bryant, who is also a rookie tight end. Like, of course he's gonna request a trade, and he never got it.
And then he rescinded it.
Yeah, and then the news that I just read, what he said he was all in for Cleveland.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess what he did was he had meetings with the coach, and they said, "Hey, we're planning on using you, and this is how we're going to do it." So, I mean, obviously whatever they said to him made him really happy because now he's all in on Cleveland, like he said. So we'll have to go from there, pretty much. I don't really have anything else here with the Browns.
That's it.
All right. So, with that being said, we're going to go and jump over to the NFC. We're going to lead off with the Vikings. Now, with the Vikings, they have Stephon Diggs departing after they robbed the Buffalo Bills. And that's about really some of the... Oh, I'm sorry. They got Jefferson as their first-round pick. Now, their wide receiver core is looking like Adam Thielen and then Jefferson here. Adam Thielen has been playing in the slot with Jefferson when he was at LSU. He played in the slot. So I'm very interested in seeing what that's going to look like over there because I have no idea.
This is going to be a new role for Thielen. It's going to be new territory. He's always played in the slot, like you said, and you kind of want to make the rookie a little bit more comfortable, so you put him, of course, in the slot position, so he's going to have to play outside against these top-rated cornerbacks. So this is going to be an interesting year for Adam Thielen.
I agree. I mean, I do think that the kid I think Jefferson can play on the outside. I know Adam Thielen's played on the outside, and he's been fine too. So I think they're actually probably going to run 2 tight end sets, and then you have Thielen and then Jefferson. And with that, I mean, that's not terrible either. You have Irvin and you have Kyle Rudolph there. So it's not going to be bad. Or I'm sorry, Irving. I said Irving. Irv Smith. It's not going to be bad. So I think that offense is going to be okay. They want to run the ball anyway. You know, Dalvin Cook is playing football. He's not opting out. So from there, it's going to be fine.
I mean, personally, I don't – with Adam Thielen, I personally think he's going to get targeted a lot more than Justin Jefferson. Just because with Stephon Diggs gone – they know what Adam Thielen can do, so I think he's just going to be a target magnet for him.
I do too. I mean, with Stephon Diggs gave up 94 targets. So there's 94 vacated targets there from last year. And I do think Jefferson gets a lot of those targets. He might even get, 70 of those targets, if anything. You know what I mean? So you add a few more targets to Thielen, and then I think it's going to be a perfect match in. Jefferson's talented. I think he's going to be great for them.
Yeah,
it would have been nice.
Thielen's only going to be teaching Jefferson, too. You got to think about that as well. Especially with Thielen being that slot receiver before and Jefferson going into that role, you're only going to see, Thielen kind of helping him and showing him how to properly run that role.
Yeah, for sure. He's going to help him out there, too. Let's go ahead. Dalvin Cook is playing. Not much to say about Dalvin Cook. We have Dalvin Cook on our consensus rankings at number 4.
Yeah, you know what you're getting with him. Like, there's not much to say. Like you said, you know what you're getting.
For sure. But the only downside about Dalvin Cook is he doesn't play full seasons of football. So you have to make your choice. Do you want to take that risk at Dalvin Cook? Because when he plays, he's playing great. But you have to put that into your perspective. Does Dalvin Cook play the whole year?
Does he deserve to be your running back? No, your running back 1.
For sure.
He does. It's hard
There's
to
no
say.
Shot that you get him as an RB2.
Or can you do it so that like you can get Dalvin Cook, but will you also be able to pick up somebody that can take Dalvin Cook's spot if something happens to him.
Yes, you can go and you can pick up his handcuff, Alexander Madison. And that is something that if you are the Dalvin Cook owner, you have to do it. You have to. Now,
I mean, it wouldn't be smart if you didn't do it because, like we said, Dalvin Cook sometimes doesn't play a full season.
he has never played a full
He's
season.
never played a season.
Ever.
Last year was his most games ever of 14, so he's never put in an entire season of work yet.
Exactly.
The plus side is that Alexander Madison is going in the 8th round at the end of the 8th. So you have plenty of time to get him. If I'm the Dalvin Cook owner, I'm probably taking him in the 7th. Just in case, because you have to have him, or you're going to be outside of a running back, out of your first pick, because he's going to miss at least 2-3 games, guaranteed. I've never seen him play a full season, so I can't project him for a full season. That's why he's at 4. But Dalvin Cook's great when he's on the field, and they want to run the ball. They want to run the ball, play good defense. But my other segue on that is that I don't think their defense is going to be very good. Their defense took a lot of hits, and last year their defense was not playing great at all at the end anyway. So I see Kirk Cousins as having to take control of this game. Thus, Adam Thielen is going to step up and get a lot, produce.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a more offense-sided driven team.
Yeah, I mean, last year Kirk Cousins, 3,600 yards, 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He wasn't throwing the ball that much. I see Kirk Cousins coming in, and he's going to be slinging the rock because he's going to have to. I don't see they playing a good division, so I don't see where their defense is matching up very good with all these other teams.
Who
like
do we got them playing? We got them playing the Packers, the Colts, the Titans, and the Texans in their first 4 games.
Yeah, that's a little rough.
I know the Packers. I believe the Packers have a good defense.
Yeah, their defense is solid.
And then the Titans as well. I mean, those are going to be 2 teams right there. It's going to be really hard to go against.
Yeah, his best matchups are going to be Houston and Detroit for sure. Those defenses are just not sitting well with me right now.
I agree. I like Kirk Cousins, though, this year.
I see them playing from behind a lot, honestly, because that defense is not going to, take teams away from actually scoring. So that can actually be a good thing because if he's out there and he has to score this, he's going to be putting up a lot of points for you guys. So I definitely will see him being a pretty good acquisition.
Oh, for sure. Let's jump into the Bears here now. The Bears, they have a big quarterback battle here with Mitchell Trubisky and Nick Foles. No idea who's going to win. I don't really care for both of them. We do have David Montgomery, who he's going to be solid. He's not an RB1 for your team. We have him ranked 23rd, so he's at the end of RB2 for our rankings. I don't really care for having him on my team, but if he's there and I need a back, he's kind of that guy that I'm probably going to have to grab. Let me see. David Montgomery's in the 4th round. He's one of the only running backs that are going in the 4th round, other than Mark Ingram and David Johnson, and I'd rather have both of them over David Montgomery.
I agree.
I'm not a fan of the guy. I think he's going to get a lot of touches, but I don't think he's going to be very efficient with his touches.
I mean, in that aspect, you also got to look at their receivers they have this year, too.
Yeah, Allen Robinson. I like him. Allen Robinson's going to be a good player, too.
Like, especially with where Montgomery is going. I mean, if they don't plan to run the ball a lot, they're going to be mainly throwing it, and you got to kind of look at all the wide receivers they have. They have Allen Robinson, Ted Ginn.
That's about it.
I mean, that is really about it. I mean,
but I mean that's not bad though. I mean, Allen Robinson should be good. I mean, I don't see any issues with Allen Robinson. It just sucks that he always has a terrible quarterback.
Yeah,
you're getting Allen Robinson at the end of the 3rd.
I mean, one weapon they do have as well, and a good 3rd down back is going to be Tariq Cohen. He is running back number 2 for them, but he does put up some pretty good receptions. And as far as rushing, he's not always that consistent with rushing, but he's mainly there for the receptions, and that's pretty much all he can do for you.
Agreed. I think that's it for the Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, they signed
Oh,
Jimmy Graham as well.
yeah, I was gonna say they signed Jimmy Graham.
Don't look at that as anything. They had Trey Burton for the last 2 years, didn't even use him. And they paid him a bunch of money.
And I mean, has Jimmy Graham shown anything in the past couple of years?
He hasn't showed anything in the last 5.
Yeah,
he's
I
been
mean,
he's been his best with the Seahawks, and that
The Saints.
yeah, that too. I see that. Yeah, you're right.
no, he
Yeah,
literally did.
yeah.
He did his best with the Saints.
Seahawks is okay. Seahawks is decent. Can we agree on
No,
that?
he was decent with the Seahawks. No, I'm not gonna lie to you. He's decent. I mean,
Alright.
He
the
was
man's
all
the
in
man's
all,
33 years old. I mean, how much? You got to think how much more he's got in him.
He hasn't had much in him for the last 5 years, so 26.
So you got to think he might only be there to show Cole Kmet, the ropes.
Maybe. But I don't want to touch any of their tight ends over there.
No, of course not. I'm just.
I don't
saying.
want to talk about the Bears anymore. I don't like it.
All right, well, let's go on to the Packers then.
All right, so let's get into the Packers here. We got A-Rod, and then we have Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones. And I think that's about all I care about over there.
What about Devontae Adams? Oh, you said him already. My bad. Woo!
Yeah,
My fault.
Jeez,
Jeez,
brother.
I'm sorry.
So Devontae Adams is a perennial star. We all know that stud, elite wide receiver. And then you have Aaron Rodgers, who hasn't – he didn't really throw the ball last year.
I feel like
They
he's
won the-
regressed a little bit.
He did regress, but he regressed because they were winning games the way that they were winning games. They were winning games on the back of the running game with Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
And Aaron Jones was playing great. But you're going to have to look to see Aaron Jones's numbers dip. He had too many touchdowns for what he is. He had 19 touchdowns last year. I don't see that happening here. I see them having to throw the ball a little more. I don't see they won a lot of their games by one possession. A lot of them. I think it was the numbers 10 plus games by one possession. And that's because they were running the ball and winning the games that way. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have to sling it a little more this year compared to last year, which is great for the Aaron Rodgers owners and Devontae Adams, which Devontae Adams was hurt a little bit last year. He was banged up. But towards the end of the season, he came out and he was playing great, like he's a top 5 wide receiver again. With Aaron Rodgers, you see the big dip because there's nobody taking him in the top 3 rounds anymore.
That's
So,
sad.
yeah, he shot down bad. But with Aaron Rodgers, I don't mind taking him because Aaron Rodgers is going super late.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I don't think.
Seventh round?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's gonna do. I think he's gonna do better than what he did last year.
For sure.
He has to. Or else he's in a lot of trouble if he doesn't do anything they did last year. He'll be in a lot of trouble.
I mean, they got more comfortable with their offense, so I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a good pick this year. I mean, he's going in the 7th round. I'd probably still rather have Drew Brees or Baker or Tom Brady or Matt Stafford, but if you're big on Aaron Rodgers, I think you get by approval. I think he's going to be good. With Aaron Jones, though, I want to go back to Aaron Jones real quick. Aaron Jones, great player. I like him. Joey should trade me him.
Nope.
But
We don't talk about that here.
with that going on, I think Aaron Jones is going to regress, and that's why I didn't draft him. He's going to regress. His touchdown total was too big, and he's also still in a split backfield with Jamal Williams. I mean, where do we have Aaron Jones? I think we have him in the top 10, which is great. No, yeah, we have him at number 9.
Yeah, number 9.
Which is great. I think he's still going to score a lot of touchdowns, but I don't think he's going to score, 20 touchdowns.
No, and you got to think about it too. They might be throwing the ball a little more this year too.
Yeah, I mean, he catches the ball, but the great thing is that he could be your RB2.
Well, when I say throw the ball, I mean like more throw it to Devontae Adams.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Aaron Jones' repertoire is there. He can catch the ball as well. So with that, I mean, if Aaron Jones is your RB2, I'm happy. If you went Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, or Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, or something along those lines, I'd be happy with that because you're getting a guy who has pretty good upside to finish in the top 5 like he did last year. And, I mean, the touchdown upside is there for him, but 20 is quite a bit.
It's pushing it for him. He's never done it before in his career, so why think he's be able to reproduce that again?
Exactly. I don't have much with the Packers anymore either. They didn't change
I will
much.
say this. I'm looking at 4 tight ends for them right now.
Yeah, that's a bit interesting.
What are they doing with their tight ends?
They didn't really use them anyway, besides the block. So that's what I project them to do is block. That's about it.
All right, well, on that note, let's hop into the Lions here.
All right, the Lions. Now you have Matt Stafford coming back, and he was hot last year, guys. Hot. Matt Stafford was balling. Now, with that, you also bring in new running back DeAndre Swift out of what college, Bobby?
Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia. So with that, I mean, I like Matt Stafford, and I think that DeAndre Swift is going to be a very good complement to Kerryon Johnson. Yes, I said complement because DeAndre Swift is going to be the third down back in my book. You're going to see Kerryon Johnson come out, and he's going to be the first and second down, and then you're going to have Swift. That's how I look at it. I don't see DeAndre Swift coming in and being the new Dalvin Cook. I just don't see that happening.
He hasn't showed any flashes of that yet, and I definitely agree with you. I think he'll be that third down back, so we'll see what happens this season with him, but I definitely think he will be a great complement to their offense.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think DeAndre Swift can take the role from Kerryon Johnson? Yes. But I do like me some Kerryon Johnson. And I think Kerryon Johnson is going to be relevant. I mean, I just want him to stay on the field and stay healthy. That's it. And with that, we can jump into these wide receivers, Kenny G, and then Marvin Jones Jr. and TJ Hawkinson. Now,
And Amendola.
Oh, Amendola, I forgot about him.
You sound so impressed when you say his name, dude.
Easily forgettable.
He's very forgettable. With Kenny G, you're getting a guy who has that ability. He has the size, he has the speed, and he has the route running. He has the tools in the shed. Now we just need him to get the targets. With Kenny G, I feel like he's a guy that can make that jump, and I hope he does. He can make this jump into being the wide receiver, top 5 in wide receivers this year. It's very possible, and it's very in the market for that. Let me see where his. I'm sorry. Let me find his.
Should be.
Oh, it's at the bottom. That's why. So Kenny G last year, 116 targets, 65 catches without Matthew Stafford. With Matt Stafford, Kenny G was averaging about 9 to 10 targets a game, which is fantastic.
Well, yeah, because that's pretty much his go-to guy.
For sure. I mean, Kenny G's young. He's got size, 6'4", 215 pounds. This guy can be elite. He can. He could be the next Megatron.
I was going to say, do you think he could be a Megatron? Do you think he has that upside to him?
He does. His route running might even be better.
Jeez. If that's the case, oof. Lions going to be nasty this year.
I wouldn't say nasty because they weren't really that nasty with Calvin Johnson there. But
hey, they put up some numbers though. You can't deny that.
They did put up numbers. I think Kenny G, you can be fine with Kenny G as your wide receiver 1.
I agree. I definitely agree with that.
I mean, where's he going right now? Kenny G. He could be your wide receiver 1 in this, or he's going at the beginning of the third, end of the second. So he could be your wide receiver 1 or your wide receiver 2, depending on what you go. If you go RB, or if you go wide receiver RB. So he can be that guy that bridges your team together. And he does have top 5 wide receiver upside. All he does is he needs to get more targets. That's virtually what it is. If he can get more targets, if he can see that target count climb up to 150 or so, and his catches jump up to about 80, 85. I mean, you're seeing a guy, he's going to get it.
He's going to
He
get
had
it.
11 touchdowns last year without Matt Stafford.
I can't even imagine his numbers going to be this year. It's going to be, I mean, he's definitely going to get the targets because Stafford's going to realize the actual mismatches between the defenses. So he's going to get those targets, he's going to get those touchdowns, and he's going to put up some monster numbers this year.
He is. He's somebody that I'm about to target in our league, in our dynasty league. I'm going to target him. What else do we got here?
We also have Marvin Jones in there too.
Yeah, I was about to go that. You have some stuff on Marvin Jones, Joey?
I was looking up some stuff. I would definitely like to see his numbers jump up a little bit, but like as you guys were saying with Galladay, it seems more that Stafford's going to throw to him. I think if you're definitely looking for a wide receiver 2, I think Jones is definitely somebody that you could pick up. I mean, he had 62 catches last year for 779 yards with 9 TDs. Definitely not bad stats for being an RB2, especially going with Kenny Galladay on the field. So I think if you're looking for an RB2, Marvin Jones isn't bad, especially since Marvin Jones is going 9th round.
Yeah. I mean, for you said RB. But
I meant, you know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. I meant wide receiver.
I like Marvin Jones because this guy's a little bit boom or bust, but you're getting him in the 9th round, and he's also finished in the top 12 at wide receivers before. So you're getting a guy who can possibly win you your league in the 9th round. You can't say that about many people.
Yeah, you just never know. Like, he could be that guy that you're, again, just like we were talking about last show. He could be that guy that you're like, well, heck, recently, just like Hollywood Brown. If you need about 10, 20 points, you still have hope when you see Marvin Jones in your lineup.
That is for sure. But Marvin Jones is in the 9th round. I mean, no matter what, when I see Marvin Jones there in the 9th, I'm taking him every day, all day. All day. Then we'll go into T.J. Hawkinson here. Where we find him. T.J. Hawkinson. I mean, 2nd year. So, tight ends are a little late bloomers. I do like T.J. Hawkinson. He flashed last year quite a few times, and then he got banged up, and that kind of screwed him. But he was playing good with Stafford, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, 2 touchdowns, which is, it's relatively okay. But what I do like is his receptions at 32 for a tight end is, I mean, he also didn't play the entire season, like you said. So 32 receptions in 12 games, it's not bad for a tight end at least.
Yeah, well, I mean, you compare that to he flashed with, week 1, had 9 targets, 6 catches in a touchdown. But I mean, he wasn't scoring touchdowns. His targets were there, and then they weren't there. It's just, I felt like it was a bad recipe for him off his first year. He did disappear a little bit. I mean, Matt Stafford's not really known for throwing to the tight end, but I think he's going to find Hawkinson this year a lot more than what he did last year.
I mean, that's what I was about to say. I feel like the Lions' defense isn't really tight end centered. And I feel like that's why you didn't really see like really good numbers from him last year. On top of him not playing all his games.
And then Matt Stafford going out. So it was more of a disaster for him than anything. So I like Hawkinson. Where's he going?
There's a lot of upside.
No, he's going in the 11th round. So if you're going late round tight end, I mean, Hawkinson's nice to get because he doesn't hurt you, but he could just not help you. But at least he doesn't hurt you.
If that makes any sense.
It does make sense. It makes plenty of sense.
I mean, where do we even have him? We even have him ranked 17 on our rankings too. So.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a guy that you can get some starts out of him. He'll be able to get you a few starts if you're playing this tight end roulette. He's going to be a matchup play, I feel, along with Eric Ebron and all these other guys outside of. At the end of Mike Gesicki. After that, I think it's all Russian roulette in a sense, to where hopefully he gets a touchdown, or hopefully that week's his 130 yards receiving week.
I agree.
You guys have anything else?
No, I think that's about it.
Well, it's the Lions.
Me too. So that was the Detroit Lions.
Shocker.
Now, come on, check us out. Download the podcast, subscribe, and we will check y'all later.